All right, guys, it's 7 o'clock. I now call the June 3rd, 2025 regular meeting of City Council to order. Our invocation this evening is going to be given by B.J. Donahue from the Erlanger Baptist. Nice to see you.
Well, I want to start with a passage. It is in Colossians chapter 4, and it says this: "Conduct yourself with wisdom, making the most of the opportunity. Let your speech be seasoned with salt, always with grace, so that you will know how you should respond to each person." And as I think about what you guys are tasked to do, I always think about what can a little bit of encouragement can I give as I pray for you. And I thought about that verse, letting your words be with grace as if seasoned with salt. Salt does a couple things. Salt preserves, right? So it gets in there and keeps things a lot longer than maybe they would normally. It also is a purifier, and so there are times where you can use it as an kind of an agent of cleansing, where you clean something out and use salt water. You might gargle with it or whatever, gargle with it. But there was one that Alton Brown gave me on whatever show it was. He had a cooking show, and he said, what salt does on food, when you put salt on your food, is it actually doesn't help the food taste better. It actually opens up your pores in your mouth so that it makes the food be able to be tasted more easily. That's what the salt does when you put it on your food. So that's why as you get older, you put more salt, because these things die, right? These little taste buds die. But as I thought about you guys, like one of the things is you have to work together, and you need to speak in such a way as you make things tasty, that people want to be a part of what you're doing, right? And they want to participate. They want to see from your perspective. And so I want to pray that over you guys, that as you guys speak to one another, as you guys speak to your community and you represent them, that you would have words with grace as if seasoned with salt, that you'd make the things that are being shared tasty for our people. So let me pray for you. Father, thank you for tonight, for the business at hand, for the opportunity that this council has to represent both their constituents, this community, and themselves and this council. I pray that you would give them wisdom in the way that they do speak, that you would give them favor in their counsel and their conversation together, that you would let them be able to speak in such a way that things are tasty. That people are excited about being in this community, being a part of the things that are going on, addressing the issues that are very real, that need to be addressed, but doing it in a way that preserves community and doesn't tear it apart. Lord, that it may have to at times speak some difficult words, but that would be a cleansing and a purifying thing, so that the things that are done are excellent with wisdom. Lord, I pray you bless this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
BJ, thank you so much for the incredibly thoughtful invocation this evening. I appreciate it. I hope that we can honor your words that you spoke. All right, please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mrs. Hoffman, if you can take roll, please.
Mr. Cahill.
Present.
Mr. Farmer.
Present.
Ms. Fields.
Here.
Mr. Hermes.
Here.
Ms. Jasper Lucas.
Here.
Ms. Nicely.
Present.
Ms. Records.
Here.
Ms. Skidmore. Ms. Wilson.
Here.
All right, thank you so much. All right, you've received a copy of the minutes for the May 6th, 2025 regular council meeting and the May 7th special council meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to be made at this time? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt as presented. Ms. Reckers, Mr. Farmer, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. You've also received a copy for tonight's agenda. Are there any additions to be made at this time? All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion that we adopt as presented. Ms. Reckers, Ms. Nicely, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. All right, this evening's special presentation is a proclamation for the Lloyd High School varsity basketball team. I heard you guys are pretty awesome. So I'm going to come down there.
All right, my name is Duncan Crenshaw. I was a senior last year. I'm going to Morehead State, where hopefully eventually I'll work for NASA. I'm studying space systems engineering, and I'm also in the honors college there.
My name is Carter Bresser. I'm a senior this year, and I'll be going to Wittenberg University to play basketball and study sports management.
My name is Isaiah Goldsby, and I was a junior this year.
My name is Billy Lewis, and I was a junior this year.
My name is Anthony Blaker, and I was also a junior this year.
All right, very good. So I have a proclamation for you guys, and then I have a whole bunch of proclamations for you to bring back to the rest of your team, okay? All right. To all to whom these presents shall come. Whereas the City of Erlanger would like to recognize the three-time district champions, the 2025 Lloyd varsity basketball team. The team finished this season with a record of 26-6 and an overall record of 91-31 over the last 4 seasons. The 2025 Lloyd varsity basketball team placed runner-up at regionals. The individuals that make up this team are versatile, hardworking, and selfless players. The players are Isaiah Goldsby, Elijah Collins, Anthony Blacker, Isaiah Sebastian, E.J. Walker, Jaden Humphrey, Carter Bresser, Tyler Copeland, Billy Lewis, Isaiah Coleman, Jackson Fan, Isaiah Jones, Avery Conrad, and Duncan Crenshaw. The following varsity seniors are attending college or universities next year to continue their education and some to play sports. Elijah Collins, Isaiah Sebastian, E.J. Walker, Jaden Humphrey, Carter Besser, Ty Copeland, and Jackson Fan, and Duncan Crenshaw. The City of Erlanger congratulates the 2025 Lloyd varsity basketball team on their success. Now, therefore, I, Jessica Fetty, Mayor of the City of Erlanger, Kenton County, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim June 4th, 2024, to be the Lloyd Varsity Basketball Team Day in Erlanger, and do commend this observance to all our citizens, given under my hand and the seal of the City of Erlanger on this day, June 3rd, 2025. Congratulations, guys. Hi, Andy. You're going to speak after Peter, okay? All right. BJ, and you are on the docket.
I want to turn the mic on. Just want to very quickly, I'm in Erlanger Baptist Church, right? And I've been here now about 8 years. There's a lot of things that we take a lot of pride in being a part of our community, whether that's our preschool, whether that's the Whiz Kids program that works with Lindeman Elementary, whether that is hosting the farmers market. We just got another chance to reward two $1,000 scholarships to graduating seniors at Lloyd. We're in the Memorial Day Parade float. We're working with Mary Ann Moore and Erlanger PD to do the Feed the Soul program over the summer. We're sponsoring a hole for the football program, their golf scramble, and we'll have a sign up all season at the football field in support of our team. We have an annual VBS that's free to the community. It partners with Erlanger Schools cafeteria to provide meals for everyone that comes. We have a family night in the fall. We have a lot of different things that we do, but there's a couple things that I just want to make mention that are really kind of special coming up. We are partnering with Lloyd Memorial to bring a group called Real Encounters, which is a BMX performance team from Missouri. They were on America's Got Talent, and they are coming and they're going to be sharing a message of mental health and hope. They have an incredible kind of performance that they do, and then they do an evening thing, so they're going to do a school program. It's partnering with the high school and their mental health day. And then we're also going to be renting out Griffin Elite and doing an indoor soccer tournament for our international communities in the area. So whether that's Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Congolese, we're going to be doing that. And then we're also going to bring in a guy named Daniel Ritchie, who's a national speaker. He was born without arms. And Daniel shares his story of hope through adversity, and that's going to be a free community-wide thing also at the high school in their gym. And so those are coming up in the fall, and I'm really excited about partnering. But we also are doing something this summer that we want to make known, and that is we're doing a cornhole cookout at Silver Lake Park, and that's just going to be free to the community on the last Saturday in June on the 28th. And so we're going to have hamburgers, hot dogs. We're going to have food. It's going to be from 11 to 2 o'clock. There's going to be a cornhole tournament with a prize at the end. There's going to be other games that are just going to be played, and we're just literally just putting it on just to host it. And so you may see some yard signs go up, but we wanted to make the council just aware of that, because we love to be in our community, right? God has put us in this community. We want to continue to be a blessing to this community. We would want it that if we were gone, that you would notice that we were gone. Like we want to be in this community because that's where God has placed us. And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be a partner with the many different groups that are in our community. I'm grateful for what this community is, where it is, the impact that it can have, and the opportunity to serve it. And so I just want to invite the council and invite the community out for specifically June 28th, that cornhole day, and then also Vacation Bible School is coming right after that on the heels of that. That's free and open to the community as well.
Great, thank you so much for the update. You guys have a lot going on. That's a pretty awesome summer. That BMX, that's pretty cool. Are they going to do any kind of like performance, or is it all about the mental health? And
so they will do school kind of programs at multiple schools.
Okay.
And it's going to end at Tishner and Lloyd, and that'll be kind of their culmination for their day. And then that night will be an open to the community event.
Cool.
We'll be putting that on.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for informing us. I appreciate it. Yeah.
When those dates are made available, can you share them with the city so that we can get that cascaded out to the community?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that just sounds amazing, and I think that. Okay. Thank you.
All right, that concludes public comment. All right, Mayor's report. I just wanted to thank everybody that came out tonight to our first official city night out. I think it was pretty well attended. And the museum being open, it was awesome. Sherry told me that they had 80 visitors through the museum today. It was the first Depot Day, correct? So Depot Days, they're now started, so every Tuesday and Thursday, there's activities going on at Depot Park, and the museum is going to be open, so it's the perfect opportunity to visit our museum. And then having it open tonight was awesome. We saw kids running in and out of the caboose, which is cool to have that alive again, and it's so beautiful. So thank you to everybody that participated and made it an excellent event. All right, Mr. Glenn?
Okay, well, I don't know, maybe this one over. Can you hear me? All right. We'll just push Mark on out of the way here. Okay, a couple things kind of related to the legislation tonight. The first thing on my agenda is the Cave Run map amendment, and we have Andy Vidakovich here from PDS. He's going to do a quick little presentation on the map amendment that is part of the council packet, and then the first reading tonight. So just to kind of lay the groundwork on what's being asked and what's being recommended by the PDS staff. Thank you.
Thank you, and Mr. Glenn's going to be controlling my presentation this evening. So thank you, Mayor Fetty and Council, for having me this evening. For the record, my name is Andy Vidakovich, and I'm with Planning and Development Services. So if you don't mind going to the next slide. This was a map amendment. The request was to change the property from a residential mixed zone to a neighborhood commercial zone. So if you don't mind going to the next slide now. So the location, you may be familiar with it, but it is an approximate area of 2 acres. It's just less than short of 2 acres, located off of Cave Run Drive. Cave Run Drive is on the western part of the city off of Dixie Highway. We're looking at almost into Boone County, but not quite. Next slide, please. So the current zoning is that residential mixed. The area to the north of the site is a planned unit development. And to the south of the site, all the properties along Dixie Highway are zoned neighborhood commercial. Next slide, please. So going through, this was animated, so I'm sorry that there's a lot of overlapping here, but basically what the applicant is proposing is just over a 10,000 square foot office building, which is outlined in blue there. They are proposing, let me see here, I've got my notes. Excuse me. They're proposing 61 off-street parking spaces located to the north, basically on all sides of the property. 30, approximately 40 off-street parking spaces are required. Again, they're proposing 61 off-street parking spaces. The site plan will be meeting all of the setback requirements. There will be access to the site from Cave Run Drive, which is on the right-hand side of the slide. You can see the green circle there that's identifying the access point onto Cave Run Drive. And then there will be a further access point. It's actually a private access drive that services the businesses, the funeral home adjacent to the site, as well as the businesses along Dixie Highway. But there will be another access onto that site. So again, another way either onto Cave Run Drive or out onto Dixie Highway. If you don't mind going to the next slide, please. So the comprehensive plan for the site, it is identified for commercial uses. As you can see from the map on the screen here, that basically the entire area all up and down Dixie Highway is identified for commercial uses, and then residential uses are to the north of the site. And then if you can forward it, please. So the Planning Commission had a public hearing on May 1st. And after that public hearing, they gave this a favorable recommendation. They found that it was generally consistent with the comprehensive plan. that it meets the requirements of the zoning ordinance, except for 2 areas, which will need to be revised if this moves forward. The first area is that sidewalks will be required along Cave Run Drive, so the applicant would need to make sure that those are provided. And then that there is a drive aisle, the drive aisle that goes out onto the adjacent properties. It was too narrow. It was like 10 or 11 feet wide. It needs to be 22 feet wide. So the applicant is aware of this, and they did address those issues at the Planning Commission hearing. And finally, the recommendation was based on testimony provided at the May 1st meeting, which I believe you've received a copy of. So that was just a real quick overview. I'll be happy to elaborate on anything or answer any questions.
I do have a quick little question or a comment. So the sidewalk connectivity and pedestrian connectivity is a major intent of both different zones. So when they finally get the site plan ready and submit it to you all, you're going to be making sure that, of course, there's sidewalks and connectivity into the site and get pedestrians, safely into the building.
Yes, that's correct. But in particular, this sidewalk is required to be filled in along Cave Run Drive. I think the connections from that sidewalk to the building, there should be one provided. However, where that's located, the zoning ordinance isn't really specific to where that is located. It could be even just like a crosswalk, because it's going to be mostly paving there in the front anyway. So.
I listened to the hearing. I didn't attend it, but I did talk to some folks that lived in Erlanger Lakes, and just for the benefit of the rest of council, I thought it was very important to, from the hearing to hear what the use of the building is going to be. I know some of the concerns that I had from Erlanger Lakes residents that I received were traffic, but it's my understanding, and maybe you can elaborate on this, that the building's going to be used for training. So even though there's 60 parking spots, they're not all going to be used all the time. This is not going to be a building that's, occupied by a bunch of office workers or anything like that on a regular basis.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. And I'm sorry if I didn't elaborate on that, but it is going to be an office for a local McDonald's franchise. But as the council member mentioned, that it will be used, there's going to be maybe, if I recall correctly, like about 5 offices there, like actual 5 employees, but then it's going to be used for the training of their local workers at the local franchises. And so, as was mentioned, yeah, it's not going to be occupied 100% all the time. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. No, I'm sorry, and I know the second part of this was the traffic impacts, because that was the kind of the issue that was brought up by the neutral parties at our hearing, and it doesn't meet any threshold, but for the zoning or subdivision regulations to require a traffic impact study. But the fact that this is coming off of Dixie Highway, the state may have some additional requirements to meet their requirements for access to the site.
I personally felt like there wouldn't be a whole lot of impact on the traffic as far as the residents working. I know that was the concern that I heard, and after hearing the testimony from the hearing, I didn't feel like that would be a huge impact on them. I think their main concern is there's really one way in and one way out of that development, so that obviously can impact them more than others.
Yeah, to my understanding, they'll have training sessions that contain 20 to 40 participants and only 4 to 5 full-time staff members there. And I think there is a connection to the newcomers parking lot. Is that correct as well? So maybe it can split the traffic a little bit.
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, that there is a secondary, I'll call it an access, but it just accesses that private road that provides secondary access. So yes, the primary way in and out would be probably Cave Run, because that's got the signalized access, but there would be other ways in and out as well.
All right, thank you, Andy, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, second on my list is, tonight we have a grant. Let me pull back up our agenda. So we have the KDPI grant resolution for tonight. And what that resolution is for those, it's getting kind of hard to remember all the grants that we're working on and the different statuses of each one. But this one we applied for back in the fall of 2024, and this was a Kentucky Product Development Initiative, and what it does is it prepares a site preparedness grant, so that way we can take property and have it maybe lessen the cost of having the infrastructure and development cost. And so when we applied for that in the fall, we were approved for the first round, which put us to the second round, which is in January. We had a site visit from the people that were awarding the grant, and we passed that round as well, which pushes us to the third round, which is doing our due diligence on looking at the site to see if it is developable. So what this resolution does is to see if we have support. The grant is $40,000, of which we're responsible for 20%, or $8,000. And what this does is for us to go out, hire an engineer and a geotechnical engineering firm to look at the site, to look at the existing utilities, to see if any utilities need to be moved, extended, and to take soil borings to see what kind of condition the site soils are in. And then if everything comes back favorable, then we would owe $8,000 for that. And if it came back to where it was not favorable, then we would know nothing, and the KDDI people would take full responsibility for the money spent. And this is for the property along Houston Road North. They're at the intersection of Old Erlanger Road, or the two properties that we have that we're looking to do an RFP for development. So tonight we have a resolution for approval on that. Any questions on that? All right, thank you. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Peter. All right. Jack, do you have anything to report?
Nothing, Mayor.
All right. Mr. Glenn, do you have any capital projects to report on?
So the bridge project is nearing completion, the Narrows Bridge. So just to get everybody up on speed, they have installed the new decking on there, and the railing and final asphalt will be going on this month, and that project will be wrapped up this month. And that's all I have.
I've had multiple people ask me about the narrow sidewalks because this bridge project is concluding. Are the narrow sidewalks in scope for this year, this coming fiscal year?
Yeah, so phase one is being completed now, two separate projects, the bridge and the sidewalks, that is. So phase one is being completed, and then we'll move right into phase two. And we're completing the engineering as we speak. We just have a couple challenges there, and then we'll get that out to bid the 1st of July. All right, thank you.
All right. Any reports from task forces? Yes.
Thank you, Mayor Fetty. I was requesting that we cancel the beautification task force meeting in 2 weeks and postpone and reschedule one for July 15th. I spoke with Kevin Quinn in Public Works Department. There's not a lot going on, and since July 1st starts the new budget, that would make sense to have one Tuesday, July 15th at 5 p.m. in the small council chambers, if it's okay with everyone. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Mr. Glenn, you're up again.
Quick little, okay, so bids, surplus vehicles. So we did an online auction this month for a police vehicle, Unit 133, of which we have a successful bidder, and we received $6,557.50. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. All right. Do we have any unfinished business? How about new business? All right, Mr. Gatlin, it's your time to shine.
All right. Put the earplugs in now, we got a lot to read. All right, this is an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, adopting a budget for the City of Erlanger for the fiscal year beginning on July 1, 2025, and providing that no money shall be expended by or on behalf of the City of Erlanger except in accordance with that adopted budget. You can see attached is the spreadsheet, which lists in a summary format the revenues and expenditures with the excess and also with the fund ending balance for all of the funds, the general fund, the employee health fund, the capital asset fund, the police forfeiture fund, the park fund, and the TIF fund. This is a first reading.
Ms. Hoffman, if you can note in the minutes the first reading.
Next, we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, establishing a personnel pay and classification plan for all Erlanger employees and non-elected city officials. This is, again, sort of a housekeeping ordinance. It lists the new positions that are being created that are underlined, which are the Director of Public Safety, Director of Finance, HR, Director of Public Works. I shouldn't say those are new positions. Those are existing positions. We've just reclassified those. And then it also strikes through the old minimum and maximum and has the new minimum and maximum for those bands. It's also as a first reading.
All right, Ms. Hoffman, if you can please note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance.
Next is an ordinance amending Section 3307 of the Erlanger Code of Ordinances, adding the position of Director of Public Safety. This, again, is somewhat of a housekeeping issue. Our ordinances have non-elected officials that have special designations under KRS. The new position that has been created, which is the Director of Public Safety, seems to fit in with that, and that's why we have placed the Director of Public Safety in the established positions of non-elected officials of the city.
All right, I ask that Ms. Hoffman please note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance.
We also changed the name, and we'll underline that for the second reading of Director of Finance. Our position is now Director of Finance HR. That's actually been that way for several years, but while we were cleaning up and adding the public safety position, we thought we would do that housekeeping item as well. Next, we have an ordinance amending the zoning map of the City of Erlanger, County of Kenton, area of approximately 1.94 acres on the southwest side of Cave Run Drive between Dixie Highway to the southeast and Barclay Drive to the northwest, approximately 415 feet northwest of Dixie Highway in Erlanger, from residential mixed zone to neighborhood commercial zone. As was discussed by Andy, this was reviewed by the PDS staff. It was recommended by the PDS staff. It also went in front of the Kenton County Planning Commission, and at a public hearing on May 1st, they voted to recommend the zone change on 2 conditions. Then these conditions are a part of the zone change from the Kenton County Planning Commission. One is that they have the sidewalks per the subdivision regulations, and 2, that the drive aisles are 22 feet wide drive aisles for two-way traffic. It was also based upon testimony at the May 1st, 2025 public hearing. This also is a first reading.
All right, Ms. Hoffman, please note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance.
All right, next we have an ordinance of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County, Kentucky, approving and adopting a supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the city. Again, kind of a housekeeping ordinance. It's the time of year we do all these housekeeping ordinances. If anyone goes online to American Legal, which is where really all cities throughout the nation seem to host their ordinances, it is an online searchable database. It makes it very easy to the public. It makes it very easy for people to look up ordinances, and we every year basically update that online code, and that actual online code becomes the ordinances of the city. So this is updating that online code that would make it current through ordinance number 2580. Again, this is a first reading.
Ms. Hoffman, can you please note in the minutes the first reading of this ordinance?
All right, next we have, now we get to do something. You guys get to wake up now. I think I saw Mr. Hermes' eyes start. A municipal order of the City of Erlanger in Kenton County amending the city of personnel policies related to job descriptions, creating the position of Director of Public Safety. We're being a little redundant on this one because we're creating it by ordinance, but we're also wanting to keep it clean with our policies and the Director of Public Safety position that is going to be a part of the written job description in our policies our policies. And job descriptions is much longer than what we're putting in ordinance, so this does need to be approved.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this municipal order as read? Mr. Hermes, Mr. Farmer. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Another one, we got a municipal order of the City of Erlanger and Kenton County amending the city of personnel policies related to job descriptions, creating the position of community engagement coordinator. This is a first time on this because this would not be a non-elected official, so this is needs to be adopted with the job description a part of the policies, personnel policies in the city.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this municipal order as read? Ms. Reckers, Ms. Wilson, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried.
All right, next we have a resolution of the City of Erlanger, Kentucky, authorizing the city to provide local match funding and service to the grantee with the Kentucky Product Development Initiative, KDPI grant, as awarded for the Industrial South project. As Peter indicated, this is a $40,000 grant to do some infrastructure, site readiness, investigatory work, and engineering work. The city would have to match that with $8,000.
All right, do I entertain a motion that we adopt this resolution as read? Ms. Jasper Lucas, Ms. Reckers, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Does anybody have any additional announcements this evening? Come again? So June 5th? This Thursday, right? Yep, Touch a Truck is this Thursday. That's one of everybody's favorites. All right, do I entertain a motion that we adjourn? Ms. Nicely, Ms. Reckers, any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carried. Have a good evening.